is moving fast. Let's break it down. Welcome to AI Assembled, where we curate the biggest AI stories and unpack what they mean to you. I'm Chris Doelle, bringing you the latest in AI so you can stay ahead of the curve. Let's dive in.
Welcome to the show. Chris, thanks for the intro.
Thanks, and welcome, everyone. This week, we're doing something pretty interesting. Trying to piece together the really important AI stories from the last 7 days, give you a clear picture of what actually matters.
Yeah, we've sifted through a lot of news, different sources to pull out the key stuff.
Exactly. We'll be touching on some major areas, big money flowing into AI, how it's creeping into schools and colleges, new features popping up in products you might already use, what these AI agents are getting better at.
And the safety stuff too, right? The ongoing discussions about, making sure this develops responsibly.
Absolutely. That's crucial. Okay, so let's get into it.
Yeah, the sheer amount of news just this week it's a lot. Shows how fast everything's moving.
It really does. It's touching everything.
Okay, so let's kick things off with probably the biggest headline, money-wise anyway. Monday, March 31st, OpenAI announced, a record-breaking funding round.
$40
billion.
$40 billion. Yeah, that number it kind of stops you for a second, doesn't it?
Yeah.
To put that in perspective, that single round, it's bigger than the entire yearly economic output of some countries.
Crazy. And the lead investor here was SoftBank. They put in a massive $30 billion.
$30 billion from SoftBank alone. Wow.
Yeah, but others were in too, like Microsoft, Coatue, Altimeter, Thrive, the usual big names.
Right.
And this funding pushes OpenAI's valuation to $300 billion, which, puts them right up there with SpaceX, ByteDance, the biggest private companies in the world.
That valuation is huge. But also think about SoftBank leading it. They're known for these long-term disruptive bets. Them putting that much money in suggests they see AI, and specifically OpenAI, as fundamentally reshaping everything. It's not just a current trend for them.
Yeah, it's a massive vote of confidence.
And it sends ripples through the whole market, signals just how much value everyone expects AI to create.
So what are they going to do with all this cash?
Well, the official line is advancing AI research, obviously, and scaling up their compute power significantly.
Right. And a big chunk, like $18 billion, is earmarked for that Stargate project, right? The joint venture with SoftBank and Oracle.
Yeah, Stargate. That's key. It shows they're thinking long-term about the sheer power needed for future models. It's not just about the algorithms. You need the massive hardware infrastructure to run them. That $18 billion commitment underlines that.
So the implications, obviously, massive confidence boost for OpenAI. It probably accelerates the AI race even more, puts pressure on Google, Anthropic, everyone else.
Definitely ups the ante.
And it underlines how crucial AI integration is becoming for businesses. But, $40 billion into one company, it does raise questions, doesn't it, for policymakers? Out market concentration.
Oh, absolutely. That's a huge point. Does this kind of funding just create one dominant giant? Or will we still see a diverse AI ecosystem? And, the ethics of concentrating that much power, shaping such a transformative technology in just a few hands.
Yeah, something we'll definitely be keeping an eye on. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Education. Another area seeing big AI moves.
Right. And interestingly, both Anthropic and OpenAI launched education-focused services almost at the same time.
Yeah, that timing feels significant.
It really does. It suggests they both see education as a key beachhead. Get students using their tools now, make them familiar, maybe even dependent.
Your future customers' future workforce.
Exactly. It's strategic. So Anthropic launched Claude for Education. It's got this special learning mode.
What does that do?
It's designed to guide students through their reasoning, not just spit out the answer, but help them figure it out, which directly tackles those concerns about, cheating or just taking shortcuts.
Ah, interesting. So more of a tutor than an answer machine.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And they've already signed deals for university-wide access with Northeastern, Champlain College, London School of Economics.
Okay, so they're moving fast. And OpenAI.
OpenAI's approach, at least initially, is offering free ChatGPT Plus to college students in the U.S. and Canada.
The paid version, free.
Yeah, until the end of May. So students get access to all the advanced stuff, voice mode, image generation, the deep research tools.
That's a pretty classic adoption strategy, isn't it? Get them hooked while it's free.
Absolutely. Make it indispensable for their studies, maybe even for finding jobs later. It embeds the tool into their workflow early on.
So big picture for education, AI is definitely moving in. It's about addressing the academic integrity worries, but also positioning AI as a learning aid.
Right. But think about the knock-on effects. How does this change things for students? For teachers who have to adapt lesson plans and assessments?
Yeah, and universities needing new policies. What skills will employers look for?
And what about the existing edtech companies? They
Yeah.
suddenly have massive, well-funded competitors playing in their space.
It's going to shake things up for sure. Okay, let's talk about consumers.
Yeah.
How is AI showing up in products we use every day? Amazon's been busy here.
Yeah, Amazon's interesting because they're often integrating AI subtly to enhance existing stuff, like this new recaps feature for Kindle.
Recaps for books.
Yeah, specifically for book series. You know how you read book 1, then wait a year for book 2, and you've forgotten who's who and what happened?
Oh, yes, all the time.
So this uses generative AI to create summaries of the previous books in a series. Helps you jump back in.
Okay, that actually sounds really useful. Is it purely AI?
They say AI generates it, but they have human moderators checking it for quality and accuracy. It's available for like thousands of popular English ebook series now and coming to the iOS Kindle app soon.
So it's augmenting the reading experience, not replacing the book, just making the series easier to follow.
Exactly. Augmentation, not replacement. It leverages their huge content library to add value.
Makes sense.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
does it raise any issues? For authors, publishers, copyright, AI summarizing creative work.
Yeah, that's the tricky part. Readers love the convenience, but authors might worry if people rely only on summaries. And where's the line for copyright when an AI summarizes a protected work?
It's a complex.
Definitely an ongoing debate.
Okay, and Amazon had another AI thing, right? Buy for me.
Yes. This one's potentially a bigger deal, technologically speaking. It uses their Nova AI and Anthropic's Claude.
Claude again.
Yeah. And it lets you buy stuff from other websites, third-party sites, but do it all within the Amazon app. You don't leave Amazon.
How does that even work?
It's what we call agentic AI. You're essentially giving the AI permission to act for you. It takes your encrypted payment and shipping info, goes to the other site, and completes the purchase securely.
Whoa. Okay, so it's like your personal shopper bot.
Kind of, yeah. It handles the transaction details. Amazon handles the order tracking within their app. But if you need customer service or a return, you still deal with the original brand.
Interesting hybrid model. Why would Amazon do this?
Well, it keeps you in their ecosystem,
Yeah.
right? Amazon becomes the central hub for all your shopping. Even if the purchase isn't technically on Amazon, it's about controlling that customer interaction point.
So this feels like a pretty early mainstream example of an AI agent doing something complex in the real world for a consumer.
It really does. It's a significant step.
What are the potential impacts? Good for consumers, maybe? Bad for retailers? Privacy concerns?
All of the above.
Yeah.
Consumers get convenience, definitely. But does it make us too reliant on Amazon? Retailers. Well, they get sales maybe, but do they lose their direct customer relationship? Does it weaken their brand? Payment processors might see shifts. And privacy advocates will be watching very closely how that data is handled, even if it's encrypted. It's a big move.
Yeah, definitely one to watch. Okay, moving on. What else is happening in AI capabilities? OpenAI added something new to ChatGPT itself.
Yeah, image generation.
Yeah.
Using their GPT-4o model, you can now just ask ChatGPT to create an image right there in the chat.
So text and images all in one place.
Exactly. Makes it way more versatile. Think about content creators, marketers, teachers. They can whip up visuals alongside text without switching tools.
Lowers the barrier for creating images.
Definitely. Makes that whole workflow smoother.
And sticking with creative stuff, there was news about Staircase Studios AI. They're using AI in film production.
Yeah, but their angle is interesting. They really stress that human artists are involved at every stage. AI is a tool to enhance creativity, speed things up, but not replace the artists.
So AI-assisted filmmaking, not AI-generated filmmaking.
That seems to be their pitch. It's a collaborative model addressing those fears about AI replacing creative jobs. It could be a model for other creative industries too.
Okay. Then there was an IPO, CoreWeave.
Right. They provide the specialized data center infrastructure that AI needs. Lots of GPUs, basically. It was the biggest tech startup IPO in over a year.
Big deal then.
Well, yes and no. They raised $1.5 billion, which is a lot, but they were actually aiming for $4 billion.
Oh. Why the shortfall?
Reports suggest some investor concerns, like they rely very heavily on NVIDIA for their chips, which is a risk, and they apparently have quite a bit of debt.
So it shows the massive cost of building AI infrastructure, but also maybe some investor caution creeping in.
Exactly. Huge demand for AI compute, but investors are looking hard at the business models and the risks involved. It's not a blank check anymore. Got it. And the legal battles continue. The New York Times lawsuit against OpenAI and Microsoft?
Yeah, that's moving forward. A judge denied most of OpenAI's attempt to get it dismissed.
So the core copyright infringement claims will proceed.
Seems so. This case is huge. It could set a massive precedent for how AI models can be trained using copyrighted material. Everyone's watching this one. Media, tech, legal experts.
Potentially landscape changing for AI and IP law.
Okay.
And on a more practical application note, Contract won an award.
Yeah, an AI Excellence Award for their digital evidence platform. Apparently, over 40 law enforcement and regulatory agencies are using it.
What does it do?
It helps them process digital evidence much faster, collect it, analyze it, prepare cases more quickly. Shows AI being used in, critical infrastructure like the legal system.
Improving efficiency there.
Okay.
Finally, let's circle back to safety and governance. Anthropic updated their policies.
They did. Their responsible scaling policy. They've defined different safety levels for AI models as they get more powerful.
Safety levels, how does that work? Basically, as a model reaches certain capability thresholds, things that could potentially be misused, stricter safety protocols and security measures kick in before that model is released.
What kind of capabilities trigger that?
They mention things like helping design weapons or fully automating scientific research or models that could rapidly self-improve or replicate, things with major potential risks.
And what kind of security measures?
They talked about enhanced internal security teams, an executive risk council, even things like physical security sweeps of their offices to check for bugs or surveillance.
Wow, they're taking it seriously.
Physical sweeps.
It shows a pretty comprehensive approach, trying to anticipate and mitigate risks proactively. It's a framework others might look at, or that might inform future regulations.
Speaking of regulations, the EU AI Act. That finally happened.
Yep, officially adopted this past week. It's a big piece of legislation imposing pretty strict rules, especially on AI applications considered high risk.
Like what? Facial recognition in public places? AI used in hiring or credit scoring? Things like that, yeah. Anything with significant potential impact on fundamental rights or safety. It really sets a global benchmark for AI governance.
So companies operating in the EU, or even selling into it, have to comply now.
Exactly. It's going to mean a lot of work for legal teams and AI developers to ensure compliance. It's a major milestone in trying to regulate this technology.
Okay, so wrapping up the week, it's just incredible the pace, isn't it? Massive funding, AI pushing into education, consumer gadgets, creative tools, the whole infrastructure being built out, plus these huge legal and ethical debates running alongside it all.
It really is interconnected. The funding enables the new capabilities which drive the consumer applications, which then raise the safety and ethical questions leading to regulation. It's all moving together incredibly fast.
Yeah, the speed is something else. And it makes you think constantly about the implications.
Absolutely. Continuous, thoughtful consideration is needed.
So, okay, thinking about all that, the speed, the money, the ethics, the regulation. Here's a final thought for everyone listening. What do you think will be the single most important factor, the defining challenge or driver for AI over the next, say, year? Something to mull over.
Good question.
For now, thanks for joining us for this week's look at AI Assembled. Chris Doelle, back to you.
It was a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
That's it for this episode of AI Assembled, but AI doesn't slow down and neither do we. If you found this insightful, follow the show, stay connected. Until next time, stay curious, stay innovative, keep exploring AI, and keep it real.
Join the Business Success Academy at freshmediaworks.com to connect with like-minded professionals, access essential resources, and stay ahead with the latest strategies for business growth. Visit freshmediaworks.com and click on the Business Success Academy logo to take your next step towards success today.